The water is warming, the waves are coming, and the weather models are starting to talk. Today is August 6th, 2026, and we are at a turning point in this hurricane season. Right now, nothing is spinning. Nothing is organized. The National Hurricane Center is not tracking any storm right now. But the pattern is starting to shift, and I want to walk you through exactly what that means in plain, simple words. Let's start with what the experts are actually saying. Colorado State University just released their latest outlook for the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Their number is 9 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and 1 major hurricane for the whole season. A normal year usually brings about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes, so this year is running well below normal. In fact, this ranks as one of the lowest August outlooks that group has ever put out. The main reason for this quiet season is El Niño. El Niño has been getting stronger all summer, and it is expected to stay strong right through the peak of hurricane season. El Niño does something very specific to hurricanes. It pushes stronger winds high up in the atmosphere across the Atlantic. Those winds create something called wind shear, basically, wind blowing at different speeds and directions at different heights. Strong wind shear acts like a pair of scissors cutting the top off any storm trying to build. Without a clean stacked column of spinning air from the ocean surface all the way up, a tropical wave simply falls apart. We have seen that pattern hold strong all season. Wind shear across the Caribbean has been running above average since June. In early July, it hit one of the highest levels ever recorded for that time of year. And the total storm energy for the whole Atlantic so far this season is running more than 70% below the long-term average. That is not a slow season. That is a season that has barely gotten out of bed. So why are we even having this conversation today? Because August is different from June and July. The ocean and the sky change as the season goes on. Even in a quiet El Niño year, the tropics have a way of reminding you the season is not over until November 30th. Right now, the National Hurricane Center says there is no tropical storm expected to form in the next 7 days across the Atlantic, the Caribbean, or the Gulf. That is the official word this morning, but notice the phrase, next 7 days. Beyond that window, the conversation starts to change. Weather models are hinting that we could see more active tropical wave activity around the middle of August, roughly 10 to 14 days from now. Both the Canadian model and the European model, 2 of the most trusted forecasting systems in the world, are hinting that maybe 2 of these waves could try to organize into a tropical depression or a named storm. This is not a guarantee, it is a hint. But when multiple different models start hinting at the same thing, meteorologists pay attention. So am I. Let's look at what is actually happening on the map right now. There is a tropical wave currently moving through Central America. It pushed through Jamaica and the Cayman Islands over the past day, bringing scattered showers, then continued west into Panama, Costa Rica, and toward Cuba. Parts of Belize and Honduras are seeing leftover showers from this wave this morning. Costa Rica and Panama are picking up heavier rain, with some spots possibly seeing up to 6 inches of rain over 3 days. That is a real amount of rain, even though it is not an organized storm. Meanwhile, a fresh tropical wave is moving in from the open Atlantic, coming off the coast of Africa. To be clear, this is not a developing storm system. We do not expect it to spin up into anything right now. But it is carrying a lot of tropical moisture, and as it moves into the warm waters of the Western Caribbean and the Gulf, it will bring scattered showers and storms over the next several days. Here is a quick rundown of rain chances. Jamaica is looking at about a 40 to 50% chance of scattered showers. The Cayman Islands sit around 30 to 40%. Haiti and the Dominican Republic are around 40%. Cuba will keep seeing its regular afternoon storms. Through the Lesser Antilles, Dominica, Martinique, Guadeloupe, chances sit around 20 to 30%. Barbados and St. Lucia are similar. Puerto Rico sits around 30%, which honestly feels low given how dry that island has been. The Bahamas will see scattered showers mostly in the North and Central Islands. There is also Saharan dust in the picture right now. That grayish, purplish haze in the sky over parts of the Caribbean is dust blown thousands of miles from the Sahara Desert in Africa. It is currently affecting the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, and stretching toward Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, and even as far as St. Lucia and Barbados. By tomorrow, the dust shifts more toward Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Here is why the dust actually matters for storms. Saharan dust acts like a lid on the atmosphere. It carries dry air. It lowers the humidity that storms need to build and grow. It also cools the ocean surface slightly by blocking some sunlight. All of that works against storm development. So for most of this season, El Niño's wind shear plus Saharan dust have basically been smothering any storm that tried to get going. The question now is whether that combination starts to weaken. Early signs suggest that by the middle of this month, the dust may ease up a bit, and the wind shear may relax slightly, even if it stays above average overall. That small window is exactly what the models are hinting at for development around August 15th to 20th. Let's talk about water temperature, because that is one of the key ingredients for any storm. The good news, in a scientific sense, is that sea surface temperatures across most of the Caribbean and the western and central Atlantic are at or slightly above their normal levels. From Jamaica through the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, into the Gulf of Mexico and along the southeast US coast. If something did organize in or near the Gulf, it would have plenty of warm water to feed on. Out in the open Atlantic, where water takes longer to warm through the summer, temperatures have been climbing, with more areas now topping 80 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, the general minimum needed to support tropical storm development. So the fuel is there. Warm water is sitting almost everywhere across the basin. What has been missing is the cooperation from the atmosphere. Less wind shear, more moisture, better organized patterns for waves to build on. And the models are saying that cooperation, even if brief, may show up in about 10 days. I want to mention one more piece of science called the Madden-Julian Oscillation, or MJO for short. This is a pulse of increased rain and storm activity that circles the globe roughly every 30 to 60 days. When the MJO moves into a favorable phase over the Atlantic, it can briefly lower wind shear and increase moisture, giving tropical waves a short window to organize. Forecasters are watching signs that the MJO could move into a more favorable phase right around the middle of August. This would not cancel out El Niño. It would not suddenly turn this into a busy season. But it could open a short window, maybe a week or two, where conditions become just supportive enough for a persistent wave to develop into something real. So what happens if one of these waves actually develops? Honestly, we do not know yet. A tropical wave that organizes in mid-August could do a few different things. It might just barely become a named storm and curve out to sea, bringing rain to nobody but the open ocean. It might bring welcome badly needed rain to dry parts of the Caribbean. Or, in a scenario that is possible but far from guaranteed, it could strengthen and track closer to land. Given how hostile the overall environment still is because of El Niño, the chance of a strong hurricane forming from these systems in mid-August is fairly low. But the chance of at least one named storm forming before the end of August has gone up. That is exactly why we are talking about this today, instead of waiting until the last minute. For the Gulf and the southeast United States, there are no development signs in the short term. Florida will keep seeing regular afternoon rain, especially around Orlando, Tampa, and South Florida. But that is just normal sea breeze weather, not a tropical system. Louisiana and Texas stay mostly dry for now, though Houston should see better rain chances by the weekend. The Mid-Atlantic and New England will see a better chance of storms by Saturday, thanks to a regular weather front with no tropical connection at all. I also want to say something important, because people ask this every time we talk about a quiet season forecast. A below normal season forecast does not mean you are safe. It does not tell you where those storms will go or who they will hit. Every single major hurricane disaster in history happened during a season that people thought would be manageable. Hurricane Andrew in 1992 hit during a season with only 7 named storms total. What matters is not the total number of storms. What matters is whether one storm decides to hit near where you live. One storm is all it takes. So yes, this is a quiet season overall. Yes, El Niño is holding activity down. But you should still have your hurricane plan ready, your supplies packed, and your evacuation route memorized. Because the one storm in a quiet year can be just as dangerous as the 5th storm in a busy one. Here's where I want to leave you today. We are at a turning point in the 2026 hurricane season. We have made it through a historically quiet stretch, and that is genuinely good news. A quiet stretch means no lives lost, no towns wrecked, no evacuations needed. But the season is not over. The busiest point of hurricane season, climate-wise, is September 10th. We are still in the early part of the busiest stretch on the calendar. The water is warm, the waves are coming. The models are starting to hint at development. El Niño is still the main force holding activity down, and it will likely keep doing that. But holding storms down is not the same as stopping them completely. One storm, in the right place, at the right time, is all it takes to change someone's life. One important point that often gets overlooked is that hurricanes are only one part of the tropical weather picture. Even if no named storm forms, tropical waves can still produce dangerous impacts. Slow-moving bands of heavy rain can trigger flash flooding, especially across mountainous islands where water rushes downhill into valleys and towns within minutes. Places like Jamaica, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Dominica, and parts of the Lesser Antilles are particularly vulnerable because steep terrain allows rainfall to collect quickly, increasing the risk of landslides as well as flooding. Every year, some of the most damaging weather in the Caribbean comes not from hurricanes, but from tropical waves that never receive a name. For farmers across the region, these incoming waves are something of a double-edged sword. Months of below-average rainfall have left soils unusually dry in several areas, placing stress on crops and livestock. A period of moderate, steady rain could actually be beneficial, replenishing reservoirs, improving groundwater supplies, and easing drought conditions. However, if the rain falls too quickly, dry ground often struggles to absorb it, causing runoff instead of soaking into the soil. That means a welcome rainfall can rapidly become a flooding emergency if thunderstorms repeatedly move over the same location. Marine conditions are also worth monitoring closely over the coming week. Even without a tropical cyclone, stronger easterly winds behind these tropical waves can create rough seas and dangerous surf across exposed coastlines. Small fishing boats and recreational vessels may encounter choppy conditions, particularly through the eastern Caribbean passages where winds naturally accelerate between islands. Beachgoers should also pay attention to local surf advisories, since stronger swells can increase the risk of dangerous rip currents even on days that appear sunny. Aviation can also be affected long before any tropical system reaches official storm status. Moist tropical air often fuels scattered afternoon thunderstorms that create turbulence, lightning, and temporary flight delays across major airports throughout the Caribbean and the southeastern United States. Travelers should remember that these disruptions are common during August and don't necessarily indicate a developing hurricane. They're simply part of the seasonal weather pattern as warm, humid air interacts with daytime heating. Looking farther ahead into late August and September, forecasters will continue watching several key ingredients beyond individual tropical waves. They'll monitor whether El Niño maintains its current strength, whether Saharan dust outbreaks remain frequent, how sea surface temperatures evolve across the Atlantic, and whether large-scale atmospheric patterns like the Madden-Julian Oscillation become more favorable for organized development. Those factors together will determine whether this quiet season stays unusually calm or briefly becomes more active during the climatological peak. The encouraging news is that today's forecasts are supported by an enormous global observing network. Weather satellites continuously monitor cloud development over the Atlantic. Ocean buoys measure sea temperatures and wave conditions. Reconnaissance aircraft stand ready to investigate any suspicious disturbance, while advanced computer models are updated several times each day using millions of observations from around the world. Forecasting isn't perfect, but it has improved dramatically over the past few decades, giving communities much more time to prepare when a genuine threat begins to emerge. So while the Atlantic remains relatively quiet today, this is exactly the time to stay informed rather than becoming complacent. Quiet periods are valuable opportunities to review emergency plans, replenish hurricane supplies, and simply pay attention to reliable forecasts instead of rumors circulating online. The next several weeks will tell us whether these early model signals amount to anything meaningful or simply fade away, as many tropical waves do. Either way, we'll continue following every development carefully, separating confirmed facts from speculation and bringing you the latest updates as the season gradually moves toward its traditional peak. So here is what I am asking of you. Do not panic. Do not stop paying attention either. Stay with me over the next 10 days. I will be watching those tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa, and I will watch the models trying to develop them. I will track the wind shear, the dust, and whether that window of lower shear the models are hinting at actually shows up. And I will bring it all to you straight, honest uncertainty where there is uncertainty, and clear facts where we have them. Whether these waves bring welcome rain to our dry islands, or something that needs closer attention, you will hear about it here first. The tropics are waking up. Subscribe, and let's watch this together.